It doesn't make any sense to me to get the budget under control by devoiding yourself of a national defense. There's only one place to be when you're fighting a war. Second place is no good. You have to win. If the government decides it doesn't have enough money to operate, it needs to cut things. Why the military is the easiest thing to cut, especially after you come out of a war. In Vietnam was the same thing. My name is Tom Shanahan. I was in the Navy for 30 years, captain when I retired. After Vietnam, I went to be commanding officer of USS Canisteo, which is a fleet supply ship stationed in Norfolk, Virginia. The problem was when I was in the Navy Yard, those in charge of personnel matters decided that we really didn't need all our manning because we were in port for overhaul. So they, little by little, stripped us of a lot of the people we had. And when I submitted my readiness report, I said my personnel status was such that I wasn't capable of getting underway. We were in one of those periods where in order to cut costs, we cut personnel, and we cut personnel too far. You see that cycle repeating itself, and now we're in the same situation right now as we were before. So your readiness goes down. It just has to. I can see in the USS Essex the same types of things that happened to me in Canisteo.
The USS Essex is back home in San Diego a day after a collision at sea.
The Essex is returning to San Diego after 12 years in Japan.
Now, in February, it was reported the Essex had failed to make a commitment at sea 2 times in 7 months. Apparently, the vessel had mechanical or maintenance issues, possibly from wear and tear.
You draw down equipment, you draw down personnel, and therefore you draw down the readiness of your ship to deploy. I had that case in Canisteo. I was drawn down to the standpoint that I could not get the ship at sea, and I had to be honest with my superiors and say I couldn't do it. We tend to do things on a short-term basis as far as our needs are concerned, and whatever force seems to be fighting at a higher level during that period of time seems to get a lot more funding than the other forces do. If we draw down the aircraft carrier forces now and the Air Force now because we don't really need them in Afghanistan and Iraq, well then when you fight the next war, if it happens to be either Iran or over in Korea, you're going to need the forces which you just drawn down on and not so much of the forces which you've built up. So you have to look at it from the long-term objective.